Good morning, I'm Elle. I'm the Keystone Stitcher. Welcome back. Or if you're new, welcome. We've had a few new people. Before we get into everything I've worked on here, I wanted to do a little bit of kind of housekeeping. I had a few giveaways and everyone except one person has gotten in touch with me. And this is Reindeer Feedsack, Karen Robinson. You won this, so if you can get in touch with me, I can get this out to you. And then let's go over what's back here. So I'm not sure if I can, my finger here. I decided to change, I'm in the same spot I usually am, but I've kind of changed it up and brought in some holiday pieces. So this right here is the Reindeer Feedsack. And I intend to turn that into a bag. I've just been way too lazy to pull out the sewing machine. So I just pulled out actually my Polo on October, and I wrapped that around October and stuck it in the frame. So that'll come out. And this display will probably change throughout December. This right here is Rebecca Nurse by the Primitive Hare. You can find that on Etsy. This, nope, okay. Yeah, that right there is Milk and Cookie Company, I think is the name of it. And that's by Spooky and Steve on Etsy. This right here is Santa's Secret. That's Dimensions Petite. That pillow is Scrooge. There was also a matching one of Tiny Tim. I really didn't care for Tiny Tim. It was in a magazine a few years back. I don't recall which one. And then the smaller pillows that you see here, down here, scattered about, are 4 of the 9 Prairie Score Nordic holidays. Excuse me. So that's what I have there, and that will change. And then I have my Christmas cactus, which has decided it's not flowering this year. So now we can get into stitching. If you didn't catch that, I will have the list of all of those pieces and where you can find them down in the description box. So you saw my title and you know that I went a little crazy this month. I didn't lose my mind totally. But in addition to those 3 starts, I also had a finish. So I finished Christmas trees. So this is by DementedStitchers on Etsy. And I stitched this on a 16 count Aida that I dyed myself. And I'll bring it in and let you see that. So yeah, let's see if I can steady that. I haven't ironed this yet, and this was fun. I'm glad I decided to pull this out. When I first started it, it was beginning of November, and I thought, everybody else was stitching Christmas. I thought I should do a Christmas piece. And then I started it and went, yeah, no, I'm not ready for Christmas. But after Thanksgiving, well, I finished this before Thanksgiving, but once Thanksgiving came, it was like, oh, now I should have pulled out my Christmas. So when I finish this, I'm going to kind of do it like, oh, come on, like that one. So I'm going to put it on, and I've got a board coming. It should be here this weekend because my local craft store does not have sticky board. And so I'm going to use sticky board and just have that up. And I don't need a frame piece. It's only going to come out, during the holidays. So that is my only finish this month. I have little finishes, but that's my only full finish. So what else did I work on? Well, I'm really happy to say that I got a couple more days in on 4 Seasons. Can you see the difference? So I'm going to, when I left you, I was working on this section right here. So I'll put a close-up of that section in so you can see how that looks now. And that house there, that part of the building, it's harder to see because there was so much white. And then once I did that, then I came up here and I started putting in these trees. So all these colorful trees. And that was really fun because as I was working on that, I was looking out the window because I like to sit by the window with the natural light. And yeah, we had all the colors of all the leaves out. So the timing was perfect to work on that. So this is where that piece is in its entirety. And I'm now at 38.08%. So I didn't quite hit 40%, but I'm real happy with that progress. So that is my oldest piece. Now this unfortunately is out of print. It is, I believe the company, I believe the company's name is Dome, but I did buy it from from the Soda Stitch shop on Etsy. So the next one that I worked on, I only worked on for football stitching, and that is strength, and I added a little bit more down here. So I'll put a picture in of where it was. And this one now, I'm at 18.75%. And this will, you know, oh, what did I do here? There we go. And so here, just so you can see, is the whole piece. I can't even see what you're seeing. I hope you're seeing, yeah, you can see it. So that's where that one is. And I never do this, but I actually left the needle right there ready to rethread. So that is strength. The next one that I worked on was grackles, and I got a few more days into this one. So here it is. So I was working, I had to fill in some stitches around here, and there were a few more down here, and then I put 2 more columns in, and I started the tail feathers of the next bird. So I'll put in a before, and yeah, a lot of background, but I was really happy to see that I was getting this. That's not the tail feathers, that's the wing of the next bird. And let me show you the entire piece. So you may, if you're new here, you may not know my granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter, this is her favorite piece. So she has named each of the birds. And we have a mixture of male and female, but for now, this is Billy. Billy is done. And the one coming in here is Tom. And there we go. There were days that I thought that I cannot wrangle this and let you see the whole thing. There were days that I thought, oh, I wish I would have dyed a fabric so I didn't have to stitch that background, because there's a lot of background. But you know what? I really love the look so much that I'm glad I didn't. And so this, oh, let me see. Strength is on an 18 count, very light pewter by Zweigart. It's just one of their standard colors. And this is a 20 count Aida. All my fabrics are Zweigart unless I specify. Okay, so then I finished the Christmas tree. And then I brought out John Lennon, which I'm not even going to show you because that's where everything kind of went off the rails for me. And that's when I decided that I'm UFOing temporarily John Lennon, and I will go into that later. So if you're not really interested in why, I'll save that for a bit later. But at that point, I decided that I was going to pull out my, you know what, I'm going to put this on the board. I was going to pull out, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. My tree. This is by Geek Threads. The artwork is by Shauna Urbeck, and the actual title of the piece, total brain fart here, is A Promise of Tomorrow. And so I've just been picking colors and working my way through. One of the colors I picked was these dark blacks and browns, and so now you can see more of the tree branches coming in, and I'll put a before in over my face, and I'm now at 15.12%. And this is just it's again, this is Zweigart. This is a 20 count even weave. So I'm enjoying the even weave a lot. I wasn't sure that I would, but yeah, that's nice. I do like that. Okay, so then came all the starts. So these last few days, last week, I've been starting all the things. This first one is one that I plan to start sometime next month. So it just got moved up a little bit. And this is Pokemon. It will look like this. And this is by Bixo Stitch, Bixo Stitch on Etsy. And I have so much stuff here. And here's where I am. So you can see I got most of the E done and the MON. And when I was done with this, I was in the middle of a strand. I rarely ever have hanging threads. I usually finish whatever's on my needle before I put it away. But like I said, this one I just wasn't in the mood. So yeah, this is a gift. This was picked out by my grandson. He asked me to stitch him something Pokemon, and we went looking, and this is the one he liked. So that is on a 20 count even weave. No, it's not. It's on a 20 count Aida that I dyed myself. Let me give you a little bit more of the fabric and the back. Show you more. We got more of those dark colors in there. So that's his fabric. I just didn't want to put this on white. And because pretty much every color I could think of is used in the Pokemon characters, that was the best I could come up with color-wise. Okay, so then my next two new starts both come from the Just Cross Stitch December 2023 issue. So this is the most recent one. And I gotta be careful how I show you this because the pattern's on the same page. And I'm doing Old Saint Nick. So this is not very big. Remember I said I didn't lose my mind with the new starts? So one was planned. This one wasn't. But this is 69 stitches, 69 stitches high by 49 stitches wide. So remember, that's what it will look like. And this just got one evening. I mean, it didn't even get a full day. And that's where that is. So I have his face all finished, including the back stitch. There's very limited back stitch on this. I have to do a little bit of back stitch in the presents and the top of the back. Sorry, my eye. And then you can see I came down and I've started his arm. So not a whole lot more to do. This is by Franny Ritter Designs. And I'm stitching this. This is a Picture This Plus. And you can see I cut the top off. So I'm not sure what color this is. It is extremely old. I can't even remember what I stitched on the bottom portion of it. But let me just see if I can bring that in closer and you can get it good. There you go. Get it closer to my hand. But that's my first unplanned start. My next unplanned start is also in this magazine. Let me just go back to it. This is called The Old Sled. This is by Elizabeth Spurlock. And again, this is not very big. So I started with the bottom. I stitched all the way across in that white. And then I came up here and I got to the middle. So I got halfway. And it's still on my hoop because I'm going to work on it this evening. So you can see I went all the way across and then I came up and I'm 2 stitches above the halfway point. So there's that one. So just for, here's my hand and you can see that's halfway. There's my hand. So yeah, really tiny, really, really tiny. But for me, really, really tiny. The stitch count on this is 136 by 83. So those are my 2 new starts. Now, I was asked to go over what was on my bingo board because I was playing, until I hit John Lennon, I was playing bingo to decide which pieces I was going to work on. And I was asked to share which prompts fit for which pieces, which pieces fit in the prompts. So I'm going to put the bingo board on the screen so you can kind of follow along. And I'm going to pick each project and I'll tell you which of the blocks. If you want to use this, take a screenshot and you can play with this yourself. So, grackles. Grackles, I took a little leeway here. I used it for classic artwork because to me, I think Omar Ryan is, wow, I didn't tell you the artist names on any of these pieces, did I? Okay, as I go through, I'll update you. So I think his stuff is very classic, very unique, and I think it will go down as classic artwork. It's not Rembrandt or anything like that, but that's where I put that. I also used it for Stitch with a computer program, which pretty much any of these I could have used. Birds, yellow and gold prominent, and you saw all that background. Family and friends gathering, which, come on. All the birds gathering on his head. And then things that fly. I also worked on stone expression, which that was earlier in the month, so this is stone expression. I used that for exotic location and landscape because why not, Weaver's tapestry, I used that for geometric shapes, and I think it was 11 or more of something because there's all the animals. Strength I used because the designer's name began with the letter N, and the designer is Nicolee Payne, or the artwork is by Nicolee Payne, and also black being the prominent color because of all that background. I pulled out my long dog, which is Resistance is Futile, and I did that one because I think that was the 11th. You were told to play, one of them was to place everything in alphabetical order and pick the 11th project. The Christmas truck was my newest start, and you had a block that is bicycle, it's up at the top, bicycle, car, or truck. So truck. John Lennon was music or instruments and celestial bodies because it looks like he's floating in space. Masquerade, which is this one here, I didn't get to this one, was Stitcher's Choice and Gifted Project because it was a gift. Kaylee from Kaylee 10 Stitch gifted that to me for my birthday. And then finally, another one I didn't get to was Ice Cream or Sweets, and that was Beetle Pop, and this is Beetle Pop. So that's how I used the board. There were several blocks that did not work for anything that I have. There's one with bears, there's one with buttons, and so on. Okay, so then let's talk about going off the rails here. John Lennon. John Lennon is a victim of circumstance because I did a video right before Thanksgiving that showed how I decide which projects I can feasibly finish in a month and how I come up with that plan. And what I didn't go into is that when I set my goals, I also, in order to keep on track with goals, I need something I'm reaching. So I'm that person that needs a carrot on the stick that I'm chasing all the time. And for me, that's a new start. So I sat down and I had a few minutes and I went into my Dropbox and I don't have a lot of charts left now that I haven't started that are full coverage. But I thought, I want some smaller pieces. I don't want any giant pieces. I want to get these giant ones done. I don't need to start giant ones. So I started with a design by Artisy. And this was a freebie. And God love them. They are honest and open about it. But when I downloaded it, I hadn't really looked at the cover sheet. I just saw the image, went like it, downloaded it, being a freebie, and then I looked at, and right on their cover sheet, it said that it was created using AI. And I have decided for myself, you do you, but I'm not going to do AI charts. So there are artists who are suing over the fact that their artwork could be grabbed by computer programs. And two of my granddaughters are artists. Both my granddaughters are artists. So where I won't cross a picket line for a union strike, I'm also not going to support something that artists feel is harming them. Okay, so I deleted that out of my Dropbox, along with all the other ones I've been deleting that were either copyright infringed projects or AI, or in the case of, I had some minis that when I checked, they weren't crisp and clear, they were pixelated, and I knew I wasn't going to be happy. So I've been deleting things. So the next one, and I really debated on going, sorry about that, I kind of bumped you. I really debated on going into all of these details, but I thought, you know what? I shared with you that I bought this project, so it's only fair that I share with you what happened after I bought the project. So this is poisoned fruit, and I'm not going to call out the shop because the shop is located in Greece. I'm in the US. I'm English speaking. This individual might not be English speaking. But when I put it into Dropbox, I thought, oh, you know what? This is bigger than the Artisy one, but I really, really like it. Those colors really speak to me. So I thought, all right, put that into Dropbox. Now, the only thing I can figure out is that when she was editing and cleaning up the software, because when you take an image and you put it in, if you're not familiar, when you put it into these computer generated programs to turn them into cross stitch charts, you need to then go back in and play with it and clean it up, because otherwise you will get this pixelation. And the only thing I can figure out is she was cleaning some stuff up and she put the wrong symbol in. So I had sent, and so just so you know what I'm talking about, this is what it's supposed to look like, and this is what it looks like. And so I asked her if she would rechart it and clean it up, and I sent her an image of what it looked like in Dropbox, what it was going to look like. And I double checked all the symbol colors, and the symbols were right, as far as what the program picked up. And I didn't hear anything. And so after a couple of days, I went in and said, okay, I want a refund. Now, even though someone will tell you on Etsy that this is a digital product and you can't get a refund, if you can show that this is not something that you bought, you can contest it and you can get a refund. And by the next morning, I had a refund. But I thought, I want to go in, and now there are a couple of colors that make all that red where it's not supposed to be. I thought, I want to go in and try to clean it up? And the answer was no. I don't enjoy that. There's a lot of work that goes into charting these projects, and I just don't really have the patience to sit there and play with it and work with it and clean that up. So that got deleted. And it was at that point that John Lennon was next on my list with the bingo board to work on. And I've always struggled with John Lennon because the background is so pixelated. And I forgot to bring it with me. The background on the original artwork is purple. Where the purple is, it is purple. It is solid. On the background on the actual piece that I'm stitching, it's not only purple, but it's blue and it's pink and it's gray, and there's some browns, I believe. Maybe not. Maybe just different shades of gray. And even from a distance, hanging it on the wall, you can still see that that is not purple. Those colors are jarring. They are so different. This is what I fell in love with. I knew the artwork before I bought the cross stitch piece. So this is directly from Jim Warren's Facebook page. And you can see I left it there. That this is what I fell in love with. And you can see that top left corner where the purple is, it is solid purple. So I kept telling myself, keep stitching, keep stitching. When you get to the face, you'll like the face. I've never really looked at the mock-up. This was the very first full coverage piece that I purchased from Heaven and Earth Designs. And I just stuck it in the program. I stuck it in Dropbox. It said verify. I went, yeah, that's John Lennon. Click, it's verified. I didn't study it. I'm going to put below what John Lennon what this piece looks like in Dropbox, and this is how it looks charted by Heaven Earth Designs. So gone are the oranges on his face, gone are the greens. The majority of his face is a pinkish purple. You know, the crispness of the letters on the keys, so the word imagine, sure, that's not there, but that I'm fine with. I know that when you try to convert what is paint to what is thread, you're going to have some, irregularities. It's not going to be exact. And so I've been trying to tell myself, just keep going. You'll like it anyway. You love it. But now that I see the difference between what I really fell in love with and what I've been working on, I've decided that there's someone that I'm going to ask beginning of the year if they will rechart, and I don't want to say who at this point. If this person agrees and says it's okay for me to tell you, then I will tell you. But I'm going to ask this individual if they will rechart it for me if they can. Now, I know some artists have their pieces exclusively with Heaven Earth Designs. If Jim Warren has his pieces exclusive to Heaven Earth Designs, then it would be a copyright infringement and I won't be able to. But that's where that stands. So, all that off my chest. But that's where things went off the rails. That's where I decided I wanted new starts. That's where I just was bummed, It was like everything I was trying to do, I was being frustrated by. Did I pick? Yes, I did. So did I pick new starts, I should say, for my finishes? Yes, I did. So I have 4 pieces that I've chosen to start next year. And I figure I want to start only 1 for every 2 that I finish. So once they're done, then I will start new pieces. And I've picked those 2, but I think I'm going to hold off and I'm not going to show those yet. Okay, so I will be back tomorrow. I will be doing Flossmas, and I am going to, my daily piece is going to be and I know this is hard to see the blocks, and if I bring it in closer, you can see it, but it gets washed out from my lighting. This is Advent Calendar. You can purchase this design. It's by Q Patterns by Maria. This is she shows you several images on different fabrics, but this is one of the images. Each day of December, so the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, I will be filling in a block and putting one of the animals in. The other thing that I have decided to do, and I played around with so many different options, is I just stuck everything I have except strength into a wheel, because strength is my football stitching. So on Sundays, this will come out after I finish my Advent animal. And I decided I didn't need any more time. But I stuck everything else that I have, including my 2 new starts, so my old time Santa, old world Santa, whatever, old Saint Nick, there we go, old Saint Nick, and the old sled. These are both in there, along with Pokemon. And each day I'm going to spin the wheel and pick a whip. That is what I will work on after I finish my Advent animal. And finally, then, so I have something to give to you. If you are not, let's not say that. If you enjoy something out of the box, if you don't always want to watch feel-good movies or comedies or love stories for Christmas, and that is a good number of them, there are an entire list of movies that are of the dark, macabre, spooky, whatever words you want to fill in there. And so each day I'm going to tell you about a different one, give you a little tidbit about it, and then now I have access. My youngest brother is extremely into horror movies, as I am, and so between him and I'm able to watch a lot of these. I won't be able to tell you exactly where to get all of them because, like I said, I am able to lean on him. But a lot of them you can find for rent on YouTube or even free on YouTube. But that will be what I'm going to, that's going to be kind of my gift to you, is to give you suggestions for movies that you might be able to turn into a family favorite if that's your thing. I won't be editing those videos. I'm going to, it's the editing and the rendering of the edited that takes so long, and I'm going to want to stitch more than edit every single day. I think the editing process will get to me if I'm doing it daily. So that's my plan for December. I know at least one person has the Advent calendar by Q Patterns by Maria, and I hope you were able to finish your grids. And she's going to try to join me and stitch one of these each day. If you have this and you've been holding on to it, I hope you'll bring it out and you'll work with me as well. And that, as they say, is that. I'm going to let you go. I hope you had if you celebrated Thanksgiving, you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. We did. We had a really nice time. And now as we move into the rest of the holiday season, enjoy each and every day. Thanks, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.